I allowed her to reach out with her ex, but I think she did more than that. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. My wife and I have been together for over 20 years, married for over 15. We started dating when I was 19, and she was my first and only serious girlfriend. Her life and childhood before we met was really rough, and was much different than my altogether average childhood. She grew up in a dysfunctional household, alcoholic father, and developed behavioral problems that manifested as things like promiscuity and drug addictions. Which resulted in her spending time in foster care, where she was sexually abused, and she eventually ended up in jail. She got out, got clean, got a job, started to turn her life around, and met me. We got married, had kids, currently elementary/middle school aged, and now here we are. Fast forward to 2019. I was having a good year. I was in great physical shape, and I was navigating a major career transition. The career thing was challenging, but it was manageable since my health and my family/marriage were, I thought, going well. But in the summer, things started going downhill. I injured myself and ended up needing surgery that involved a long recovery time. Thankfully, I thought, I still had a great marriage and wife to support me through this. And she did. I couldn't have gotten through the first few months of recovery without her. At this point, I was incredibly thankful for her and her support, and I was feeling good about our relationship, but something felt off. I was feeling a little too dependent/needy, and I started to notice some changes in my wife that had been occurring over the last year. For instance, she began losing a lot of weight, about 50 pounds. She began focusing a lot on her appearance. She started buying new shoes, buying new skin and hair care products, and spending a lot of time on skin/hair routines. Her libido went way up, and we were having more and better sex than we had in a long time. She started saying things to me like, "If you're going to cheat, please talk to me about it first." I have never cheated, nor am I someone who would do that. Earlier in the year, she had asked me if I'd be okay with her reaching out to an old ex-BF, we'll call him George. Because he showed up on Facebook, and she'd been feeling bad about the fact that she cheated on him 25 years ago. She never had sex with George, but she felt that she'd wronged him, and wanted to apologize and come to some closure. I gave her the okay to do this, and didn't really think all that much of it at the time. She mentioned George's name in passing a few times over the course of a couple months, and I started to get suspicious. So late last year, I returned from a work trip, and I looked through her phone. We've always had each other's passwords. And I found a secret text thread with George. She had deleted most of the history, but most of the texts I saw were from her. It was a little flirty, but ended essentially with, "We're both married and this needs to stop." I confronted her about it, and she was immediately super apologetic. She said she started going to therapy specifically because of her challenges with this guy, and she agreed to unfriend him and cut off all communication. A couple of weeks later, we had a fight about it again. Mainly because I was still feeling shitty and anxious. She freaked out, left the house, disabled location services, changed her phone password and her social media passwords. She came back after about an hour, but to this day has not changed her passwords back or told me her new passwords, and she does not intend to. A few days after this fight, she went out with some friends. I still had her computer password, and her texts synced to her computer, so I looked again. And she was texting a friend saying that George might be in the area and she might want to meet up with him. So I confronted her about this again, and after lying about it to my face, she eventually came clean. She was not apologetic. She walked back her previous apologies, and acted like she never really did anything wrong by just texting this guy. She started shifting the blame to me, saying I shouldn't have looked through her phone, and that she can never forgive me for doing that. And saying that I've been too needy/clingy over the last 20+ years. She also said that she can no longer manage my anxiety by changing her behavior. And that she's more depressed than she ever has been in her life. All of this pretty much broke me. I've been gradually grieving, dealing with these feelings, going to therapy and medication, and having been reconnecting with friends for support, and all of this has been helpful. But I'm not seeing any major changes from her. She's still going to therapy, but she won't talk much about it, and I don't see her doing many of the things she says her therapist is telling her to do, for example, journaling, meditation, getting out of the house, she's a psalm, exercising, etc. I don't see her doing anything to try and re-establish trust. I know she's still secretly texting this guy. I don't know how often, or what they're talking about, but I know it's still happening. She does not know that I know. She seems to think she can maintain/sustain both our marriage and whatever she has going on with this guy. I feel like most of me recognizes that I need to kill the puppy and end this marriage, but it terrifies me. I've never really lived on my own, kind of crazy to admit that as a 40-plus-year-old. And even though I'm an introvert, I really don't like being alone. I will miss the company, the friendship, cuddling, the affection, the sex. I know she doesn't want the kids, so I'd almost certainly get primary custody. This is great, because I love my kids, but I also have a demanding job that requires travel, so I don't know how I could manage them on my own. I would need to lean on my family significantly. I also have significant assets, and the idea of her getting half of our assets/property, along with alimony, really hurts. When she was the one who broke our marriage. Our state does allow for at-fault divorce, but it's apparently very rarely used. We also still have a great sex life, which I guess is a hysterical bonding thing. Whatever it is, I'm still enjoying it immensely, but it feels like it may be a little manipulative, particularly because the sex makes me feel closer to her emotionally, when I'm trying to emotionally detach in order to protect myself. In any event, I made an initial appointment with a family lawyer to see what my options are. Should I keep going down the path of sort out the divorce stuff in the background and keep acting like everything's okay? This is the path I'm on now, and in the meantime I've been collecting as much evidence as possible of what she's been doing. I don't really like the idea of a trial separation, as I think that will just give her more time/space to step up her relationship with this guy. He lives about 1.5 hours away, so seeing him now would be difficult for her logistically. Here is the second story. I finally put all the pieces together after all the time she's acted weird. I found a wayward text on her phone, and I put all of the pieces together. She's been acting weird since last summer, and now I know why. She keeps making up excuses to be gone after 7 to 8 p.m. Like needing to return a library book, needing to go grocery shopping and take 2 hours, being at the gym from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., no one works out for that long, going over her parents' house, etc. There's probably more that I'm forgetting. It wasn't just at night either. Anyways, she actually admitted some things to me. She had sex with someone that I don't know named R. Don't know his full name. Claims it happened once. Sure. I have no idea who this person could be. She's never dated anyone whose name starts with an R that I'm aware of. It's driving me crazy, but I guess it doesn't matter in the end. Her reasoning was brutal. She said that we did not have enough sex. That she was not getting affection and intimacy from me. I'm not a touchy-feely person, so she cheats? She also said that she was bored with her life, marriage and motherhood. Don't get that one? At all? She has an amazing life. She added that I don't make her finish ever, apparently. I don't listen to her when she tells me what she wants in bed. She says we have a bad sex life. Makes me feel terrific. I don't know. Not enough reasons to cheat, emo. I would never cheat on her. I've never even thought about it, except maybe a random time with a coworker. Nothing happened, even though it could have. This was just a vent, so I'm rambling. Not sure if I can move past this, but we have 2 young kids together. Here are some of the best comments from our community. I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm over a year out from D-Day and it still hurts like hell. You need to get something straight right now. None of this is your fault. She's gaslighting the shot out of you so she doesn't have to admit to herself how truly despicable her actions were. It's a normal phase, but doesn't make it acceptable. Are you looking to reconcile and make it work, or are you done? You won't be able to move past it. You'll try to reconcile for the sake of the kids, but a year or so down the road, you absolutely will not be able to stand her. That will be the end. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.